Hello, everybody. It is November 20th. It's just about noon. Forgive my voice. I was just doing a TED Talk. I had a new part come up, obviously, and he's furious. So that was his second TED Talk, and he's a yeller. He's a shouter. So anyhow, this is going to be for journal entry. I thought I would just get into it and then I can talk about different things as I go through it. So let me share. And here it is. So May 11, 2024. It's just going to be this one day, probably a short entry today, because then there's a session after that, and I don't want to get ahead. So I said, about 3 or 4 hours ago, I was thinking about the parts that are still missing. And I know that they are the I know that they are the parts where a lot of the killing took place. And I also know that Fatty had been eating a lot of sweets and sugar for the past years in order to not bring it up. So I had to run to the store for a part for my weed eater. I went to Lowe's and they did not have the one thing that I went there for. Sorry. I bought too much plant stuff and left. Walmart was right next door. Fatty was screaming at me to go to Walmart and get some chocolate cake. I was talking to her saying, well, Fatty, we're not going to do that because you already have a donut at home, plus there are candy bars there, so what you have is just fine. She was just putting up a big fit. She wanted chocolate cake. I was gently reassuring her that no, the donut is enough, as well as having candy bars at home. We don't need any more. So as I'm driving home, she starts screaming and wanting me to stop at Stater Brothers that we are driving past to get her some chocolate cake. Again, I reasoned with her and said no, the donut was enough. So I get home and sit down and start working on my parts. I remembered what Jon had said about journaling or drawing pictures, so I thought I'll pull out my sketchbook and see what happens. Sure enough, I drew, I think, 5 or 6 different pictures, and it opened up pretty significant memories about things that happened on the boat on that way to the mansions. I discovered the parts called Whip and Lost, so I got my parts map and created the page for each part and wrote out their bios. Then I started to get hungry, even though I had just had lunch only 2 hours prior. I remember thinking that Fatty must be trying to trick me into eating the donut that I've saved for after dinner. I finished the bios for those 2 parts. So let me see if I can find you these sketches that I did. This is May 11th. And I dated these, so it shouldn't be too big of a problem to find them. Okay, here we go, 5/11. I'll go to each one as they are discussed. Okay, that's 5/11. Let me see. Which one? Okay, so as I'm reading, I'll pull up the image and then let me see if I can find Lost and Whip. These are the other guys. So okay, here we go. This is a picture of the part Lost. On water in a boat, and I'm hanging over the edge being raped by the boat captain, and he's got money in his pocket. That's what I drew. My fabulous artwork there. And Whip, again, this is the boat captain. woman in a robe is handing him money. I've got blood on my hands, and he's handing me over to her. She's paying for me. Let me see, because I thought there was more. 13, Joker Finnegan. I guess that's it. Let me see. Oh, no, that's not it. Anyhow, we'll get back to the journal. And I guess I'll show you the parts map as well. They're images, journal, parts, maps. Okay. So Whip's name is now Wendy. Okay. So here is Whip. She was my part is we were on the boat, there were other little children, and I was made to whip them with a whip. This is the new image that she chose. She wanted to feel good at the water, but not in a boat. And then I need to show you Lost. She was bent over the boat, as you saw in the sketch, being raped, and she just disassociated and got lost in the water and tried not to think about what was happening. Her new name is Judy, and she wants to enjoy boats. And it's funny because it's not that I hate boats. My husband had a boat for a little while. He's a fisherman. And I'd go on the boat with him and I wouldn't be uncomfortable or anything. But I think um, it's just not anything that I ever wanted or gravitated towards. So, and he spent a gazillion hours on it. I probably spent maybe 3 hours on it over having it for 10 years. So these are the two parts: be raped on boats and then it's made to whip children on boats. And here's their stories, which I'll get to at some other time. Oops, hi, Manny. Um, It occurred to me that the part that I needed for my weed eater might be at Home Depot. Perhaps that's where I bought it. So I looked online and sure enough, that's where it is. So I drove over to Home Depot. As I was driving over there, I could hear Fatty starting to nag me to stop at Target and get some chocolate cake. Any store that we drove past that she knew had chocolate cake, she was bugging me. This time she said, "Look, I just gave you two more parts in their bios. This should be a little reward for me." Fatty's reward for a job well done by the killers was being able to eat whatever she wanted from the dessert table that was always set up in these mansions and also at the school. And this is referring to School Sisters of Notre Dame, which I've talked about before. Then another part popped and said, "Yeah, she deserves that. Give it to her. I think this is Andy." But I still reasoned with her, no, the donut is enough. So I went to Home Depot and looked for the part, and of course they did not have it either, even though the online app said they had several. Anyway, I left and had decided that yes, I will go to Target and get cupcakes. I could feel myself getting sad and depressed and just negative. I realized that that was Sadie popping her head up. Now, in Target, I went and found some cupcakes and went to the checkout line. Once I had the cupcakes in my hand, Fatty was gone, and Sadie was gone. And now Andy was there saying, "That's great. We don't need Sadie to get all depressed and off herself. So that's great. You're getting her something to cheer her up." Even though it's Fatty that's going to be eating it, Andy was there to cheer up Sadie with sugar. On the drive home, all three of them were just pleased as punch that we now had cupcakes, as well as a donut that is still sitting there. When I got home, I started thinking about how often I had gotten hungry. Well, you know what? I'm going to back up. I'll show you um, Fatty, Andy, and Sadie. They all have new names. Mm, 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 mm. So sorry, okay, so here she is. She loves her chocolate cake. And her next image was this of a woman in armor. And then eventually she decided she didn't need her armor anymore and changed it. And along the way, actually, when she changed her name to here, she became Felicity. And then Felicity said, "Yeah, I don't need the armor anymore. I'm good." She wanted a soft, gentle, humble look. And so her new purpose is health and longevity. And I'm happy to say I'm not going after cakes and cupcakes anymore. I just have a little caramel at the end of the night. My thing of late, and that went on for about 6 weeks, no extra candy or junk food, but for about the past week and a half, it's been all about the potato chip, the crunch, 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 which my counselor and I talked about. That's probably about anger. I think the sugar is about stuffing. It's all stuffing. But when you have a crunchy food, it's because you got anger. So I'm trying to work on Ted with that. So there's little Fatty. She started off my original part and she evolved into Felicity. And she wants to focus on health and longevity. And who was the other ones? I'm sorry, guys. Oh, that's right, Andy and Sadie. So let's find them. Um, I'm just gonna. His new name is Aaron. Here he is. Now, Aaron was given amphetamines to have energy to be able to perform sexually. So to be sexually abused and overstimulated with drugs. And this is what kept us awake all night. And I first encountered him in a dream where Anne and Andy presented themselves together, which the sketch is under Anne. I need to move that, but I think I've showed you that before where it was just Anne and Andy. He's sitting up straight. He's got these eyes, these blue eyes like in the picture. And he's just sitting up straight while Anne is a rag doll laying on his shoulder, and they're sitting on a bus stop bench next to a stoplight. And so he was the one given amphetamines, and Anne, who is now Dana, was given downers after everything was over so that she could go to bed. So here's Anne the doll, and this is her new name, Dana. And she wanted her new purpose to be comfort. And she loves on the babies. So and so let me find you Sadie. Next. Oh, come on now. Actually, her new name is Sandy with an I. There she is. There's Sandy. Sandy was told mom about the perps. My mom brushed it off, and she just went into despair and helplessness and hopelessness and would cry and be sad and in despair. And I thought it was funny and John pointed this out to me, my counselor, how her shirt's got pentagrams on it. Didn't even notice it until he pointed it out. Anyway, here's Sandy's new picture. She's laughing with bright colors on, and she is to help and give hope is her new purpose. So those are my peeps. I'll show you those. When I got home, I started thinking about how I had gotten hungry when I should not have been. I was physically, literally hungry. I thought to myself, what part would that be? Then it occurred to me, of course, it's Wolf. She's sitting in a cage starving to death. She was made to sit there for hours and hours and hours with nothing to eat and have to keep herself perfectly calm. So Wolf is in cahoots with Andy and Sadie and Fatty. When Fatty doesn't get what she wants, she will enlist Wolf first to make me think that I'm hungry. And right now, in this moment, I'm having hunger pains, ironically. And then Sadie to make me feel depressed which then triggers Andy, who wants to cheer her up with an upper, which is sugar, and take care of her, reward her, give her some energy, which is what he's known for. And none of that works when Wolf is there to cause more hunger pains. So that's how these parts are working together through me with food. So it's 4 o'clock, and I usually have a snack at this time, the same time I feed my dog. But I also remembered that as Wolf was crying out that she was hungry, that Sarge piped in and said, "Well, you better at least eat something healthy." So what I generally do is have a smoothie, which is full of fruit, so I figure I'm getting vitamins that way, and then I have something sweet with it. That way, Sarge is happy that there's something healthy in it. Wolf is happy that he gets to eat, which I now know that it's a female. Andy is happy that the snack is sugar. And Sadie is no longer depressed trying to kill herself with sugar. And Fatty got her sugar reward. They all work together to get what they want. So there's a new aspect of Wolf that I discovered, that he was starved. And also, I just discovered that Wolf is a he because as I'm writing this, he keeps coming out of me. I also recall that Angie once told me that when we were very small, that if you get hungry in the cage, to swallow a lot and it can help, or just drink your pee and you won't be hungry anymore. So that was an interesting memory. Also, that Sarge doesn't care if I eat bad food as long as the bulk of my food is healthy and full of vitamins and minerals. And as long as Bike does her minimum exercise for the week, she's happy. Sadie wants junk food all the time to hurt herself. Fatty considers food as a reward for good behavior. So long as the executioner, this is a new part, gets the killers to do a good job, then Fatty gets the reward. If they don't do a good job, then Fatty steps aside and Wolf is starving. And if Wolf is starving, then Sadie becomes sad and depressed and wants to kill herself. When Sadie wants to kill herself, Andy wants to rescue her by giving her stimulants. So your parts are gonna do stuff to you. You know what I mean? If you can't figure out, oh my God, if this is just one part doing this thing, no, they all work together. Um, and let me see. You guys have seen Wolf and Sarge, which note ye. I don't want to show you the executioner yet because I want to do her story all together. So I think I'll just continue on. I was also thinking about having the ability to do all this work because video is 8 weeks ahead. I thought to myself that worker bee, these are all different parts, feels very unfulfilled because she is ahead with her work, just in the same way that teacher's pet used to read ahead so that she was prepared for class. And that is what Smarty Pants that taught teacher's pet what and how to do that. So these are all different parts. Worker bee, Smarty Pants, teacher's pet. Video is the part created just like 3 years ago. I had to learn how to create videos. And how you're learning a new task, and your brain sometimes you're disassociating. And the more you learn, the more that part learns, the less you disassociate, but there's now a part created. At least that's how it works for me. Avers Lynn is another part when I started my own business for a couple of years. So I guess I'll show you those guys. So we have Worker Bee, which was my first job when I was 14 and a half years old. Here she is. She was we started off as a bus girl and then turned into a waitress, then into a cook, and then into assistant manager, all at the same restaurant, Mondo's Restaurant, Red Oak, Iowa. And she she liked this picture, not a picture of a real person. But now she changed her name to Bea, and here's her new image. And I find it funny that it's in front of a laptop, like right now I'm in front of my computer, and it's to serve others. That's her new purpose. She wants to serve others. So B says hi. Hello, everybody. Who is the other part? Oh yeah, Smarty Pants teacher's pet. Okay, let's find these guys. I think, um, let's see. Smarty Pants is now, Smarty. Come on now. Oh, that's right. Okay, here we go. Close. Smarty Pants. She was little. Look at it. It was my father tested in me at 3 years old. Believe it or not, he trafficked me to a mobster's club, and he ran into a Jack who would become my handler a couple of years down the road. But they tested me for my IQ and aptitude at a table in a bar in the middle of the night run by mobsters. I know, gobsmacking. So they knew what my IQ was, but I never did. And so I would, whenever I would point something out to my dad at home or tell him, he'd say, "What do you think? You're a smarty pants? You think you know it all, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, so she changed her name to Ivy, and her purpose is to use her intelligence now that we're aware of it and we've had some education and we're not being told we're stupid or to hide in the background. Ivy wants to use her intelligence. So there's Ivy. She says hi. She's got her glasses. I thought she was pretty. Um, Teacher's pet. It's pretty close to here. Because I had to go to school. Here we go. Teacher's pet. She was with her teacher. We started getting good acknowledgement and positive feedback in kindergarten and first grade, and had really, instead of, negative experiences, I was now having some positive experiences, basically for the first time in my life, except for when we got our dog. But that was, before this. So here's Teacher's Pet. She changed her name to Tabitha. And here's her new picture. She's got her workbooks and stuff. And her new purpose is discernment and learning, because she's going to learn for the rest of her life. We are. All of us are. So that's Teacher's Pet. So those are the three parts I just read. Oh, and video. I guess I should show you video. Video was created way down the line. How old was I? Here's the mom part. Video was when my friend Melissa started taking her deceased husband's audio work from the internet and combining it with video. And I do those videos as well for her, and you see some posted on my sites. But I started doing them. Come on now, right here, or video. I was 57, so just a couple years ago. Creation of videos for the oh geez, there's a boo-boo. Cuttingthroughthematrix.com site. And for the YouTube channels she has. And this was our first image, the play button on the video. And she changed her name to Violet. And she's a content creator for my SRA channels now. And I also still give them to Melissa, and she can post. So there's Violet. She says hi. She's in front of her workstation doing her thing. I don't drink coffee, but I do have hot chocolates or tea. So there's Violet. I was also thinking about having the ability to do all this work because video is 8 weeks ahead. I thought to myself, worker bee feels fulfilled because she's ahead with her work, just in the same way Teacher's Pet used to read ahead so that she was prepared for class. And that is what Smarty Pants that taught Teacher's Pet what and how to do that. I also thought that video is not like the other workers, with the exception of when I owned my own business. Avers Lynn could control what was going on with her time and thus be able to get ahead. When you work for someone else, you don't always get that option. It also occurred to me that organizer, because I love to organize things, is in there making sure all of this works easily and efficiently. Sarge says no screwing around. And Trish keeps allowing new parts to come out from behind the wall. And when Trish does that, file clerk can then open up the records and give me the information. However, Trish is worried about being lonely once there's no one left behind the wall. I told her not to worry. We will all be co-conscious together and living in the present time, that will be impossible. That cheered her up. As a matter of fact, I can hear many parts cheering and high-fiving and excited about the whole prospect. Trish and Fatty serve the same purpose, just in different areas. Fatty is the wall between Diana and the events surrounding killing people. Fatty has a wall for all those 85 deaths. Trish deals with all the other parts. They do work together, and Trish has shown Fatty that it's okay to let the shadow people out into the sunshine. Also, in regard to the boat rides, I realized that it was Pumpkin who taught Whip what to do. So Pumpkin was the part that had to smash pumpkins and people with a bat or a blunt object. And when this boat captain wanted me to do this, I'd never whipped another person before. At this time, I didn't remember. And so Pumpkin's like, look, just hit it like I had. So Pumpkin was teaching and disassociating, Pumpkin splitting and becoming Whip. Pumpkin knew how to make the blow, but Whip had to figure out how to operate the tool. Pumpkin showed Whip how to suppress the pain and guilt of it with Fatty. Now that Fatty has her afternoon smoothie and donut, I'm concerned that there won't be any more parts or memories revealed today anyway. We shall see as we go forward. It seems to me that the only reason Fatty allowed me to see those parts was because I denied her the sweets. But she keeps saying to me, as long as she gets a reward for her hard work, then she will cooperate. That's how she was programmed. So I'm suggesting to her that we find a reward that is something other than sweets. Like Jon said, perhaps we should hit Ted the torso. She says, I don't know about that. Doesn't sound very sweet to me. So we will have to work that out. I have my map printed out sitting out next to me, and as I look at it, it occurs to me that Sadie might need to go in the downers category. Although she is the rebel that told the truth, that's why I have her with the rebels. But she is so sad and depressed that it seemed like she should be with the downers. I'll leave her where she is for now. Perhaps she belongs in both categories. Although as I look at it, and Zombie, Shotgun, Anne, and Pothead, I don't see that any of them really want to kill themselves. They are all downers because of the drugs. That's not true. Zombie was just defeated. So yeah, maybe Sadie does go over there next to Zombie because they both feel defeated. And I'm realizing that maybe a few of these parts might belong in two categories, which as I'm reading this, I'm realizing I need to show you the map from that time period. So this is 511. I just showed you the map that I worked on yesterday. Come on now. Here it is. So I'm talking about, Felicity. Well, Fatty, where did you go, Felicity? I think well, anyway, here is Sadie, the sad one, Zombie, Hothead. They were all, sad and down. Here's Andy in the uppers category. Where did you go, Felicity? My goodness, because none of them are in categories anymore, and they don't have walls. Here's Pumpkin here. Did I start making this? Oh, I did. Okay. So here's Pumpkin, who split off into Whip over here. These are the boat rides. So there was Lost that I just showed you in Whip. So this is Judy and Wendy. Pumpkin is now Patty. Fatty is Felicity. So Fatty would stuff herself to not have to remember any of this in here. There was a lot of people that my parts were made to kill. And it upset her. And it still does, but because we've worked on Ted, she doesn't feel the need to stuff herself with cake and candies and cookies and donuts and whatever, yes, I still enjoy them, but it's not a compulsion anymore. It's a choice. Like I said, the potato chips are a bit of a compulsion right now, but I do have one little caramel covered with chocolate at the end of the night, and that's okay. It's like 100 calories, I think I looked at. I thought it was 70, but it's 100. But it's way better than a 700 calorie piece of cake with whipped cream and chocolate and all sorts of stuff on it. So these are the parts. And I showed you the images already of them individually, and he keeps coming up. I'll show you him. He presented 2 days ago as this guy. I called him, he was monster. I called, which I was like, he's just a monster. He's huge. He's massive. He's 8 or 9 feet high, just like the Incredible Hulk. And that's why I picked this picture. We picked this picture because that's what I saw in my mind's eye. He's this angry. And after I acknowledged him and we had a conversation and a session with Joe, well, he instantly said, I don't call me Monster, I'm gonna be called Manny. That's my new name, Manny. And so when we were looking for a new picture, he said, type in strong man. So I typed in strong man, and actually the picture, come on now, do it for me. Ah, why are you doing that now? Dang it. Anyway, you saw. Um, so there we go for that. So at this time, I had that sort of a map with the cat. I was trying to understand how things are separated and who talks to who and what and all that. So I'm also thinking about John's IFS parts breakdown. And in the support team section, there's one that's playful. I'll show you that as well. IFS. I've put it up before. I'm going to do it again. Jon Uhler's D.I.D chart. These are the things that are co-conscious, detailed, dutiful, playful, helpful, detached, submissive, pessimistic, anxious, defensive, aggressive. These are things that you're aware of about yourself. So I'm trying to understand, well, how does this all work? This stuff. I understood the different levels, and John's got videos out explaining how things work and interlock together. But that's what I was thinking about here. I guess as an adult, my playful side of me is the creative side of me, deco, who likes to decorate, nails, I do my nails, organizer who organizes things, plant who loves to grow plants, and cooking. But I don't know how an adult is playful outside of doing the things that they enjoy. And those are the things that I enjoy. I think riding my bike outside would stimulate the playful part of me. It's so exhilarating. I stopped riding outside because I developed allergies. If I ride indoors, they go away. I rode outdoors almost daily. Perhaps if I go out once a week or once a month, that would be okay. I would not get allergies again. But I could get that exhilaration back, that joy. I miss joy. Joy is the part name for the part that rides the bike outside. Bike is the part name for the part that rides the bike indoors. She loves riding outside. She's bummed I stopped. Teddy Bear wants a friend. Teddy Bear, I'll show you her. Show you in this one because it'll be easier to Teddy. There she is. Teddy. I was walking home one day from school, walking down the alleyway, and I was skipping and having a great day because my teachers acknowledged me. And when it was recess time, I didn't really play very much, but one of the teachers got me to play and brought the playful side out of me. And so I was skipping home and I made up a song about a teddy bear. And I was just enjoying myself. I got home and my dad spoiled it all, but Teddy Bear exists. She's in there. She's happy. She makes up songs and skips and sings, and she loves to swing on swings. It's the impact level 10. She was very happy. We're 5 years old, and here she is now, bigger. She's grown, She went from teddy bear to Teddy, and she still loves to sing and skip and have fun and loves swings. So there they are. They say hello. Um, I also, I'll keep that down there for a moment. I also have to show John a picture of that nun that ran School Sisters of Notre Dame. When I saw her, I had a physical reaction each of the two times I looked at her. Right now, I don't want to look at it just yet. I'm reluctant to look at her again. I think she is the person who Sarge copied, or who trained Sarge, or who Sarge was trained to be like. I think she ran the whole training camp. She is dead now. So here she is. Sister Mary John, Geraldine Zielinski, School Sisters of Notre Dame, born and dead. Now, this is a man. In my memories, she raped me. This is a man in drag, but this is her official photo. She's called Sister Mary John Zielinski, has a male middle name, should give you a clue, and just happens to have a twin brother who goes to engineering school during the day, but at night, uh, comes to the School Sisters of Notre Dame in drag. I don't know. Maybe there is actually a twin. I don't know, but this is a nun in drag who abused the children at this place, and he's awful. And one of the ways I got in trouble there was I got hurt, and so I was a little disassociated, and what we would call her is Mr. Mary John instead of Sister Mary John. I got someone heard me once. I got trouble and tortured for that. So F you, Mr. Mary John. Anyway, let me get out of there. So it's a creepy face. I'm getting a physical reaction right now. Enough for today. So I'm not gonna, even though I made those changes, I'm not gonna save it because they're in different hard drives, and it's just insanity trying to keep up with it. So I hope you got something out of this. I hope it helped make sense of a few things. And God bless you on your journey. God help you, watch over you. Um, please, Jesus, bind all powers, principalities, spiritual wickedness, astral projection on all planes of existence, human and spiritual. Bind all of them from every survivor on the planet so that they may heal and work. Dear Jesus, please help everyone on the planet survive their oppression. Help them to grow, help them to remember. As they remember, help them to heal. As they heal, help them remember you were there, you helped them survive. As they remember that, they remember that you were their warrior, you helped them survive. And finally, as you realize that Jesus was your warrior, you will become his warrior because you can remember, because you remember, you know what evil looks like, smells like, tastes like. You know the difference in the air pressure. You know, and you can protect yourself and those around you when it comes around you. So God bless you all. God look over you all. And again, email me if you want the stuff. It's free. Love you all. Take care. Bye.